Gemini, have you noticed lately that your mind seems to be speaking in two different voices? One voice craves peace, wanting everything to stay still. The other keeps urging you to change, to break free, to do something greater. There's a strange energy weaving into your life, elusive, hard to grasp, yet undeniably real. It feels as if the universe is quietly rearranging everything, just waiting for you to be ready to see it. Do you feel it too? That restless, hazy sensation, as if something big is about to happen, but you can't quite name it yet. During the last week of November, the universe will begin to separate you from everything that made you forget your true voice. The version of Gemini who always smiles to hide the pain, stays busy to avoid thinking, and keeps changing just to be accepted is slowly dissolving. But don't be afraid. This is not an ending. It's the stillness before your rebirth. You may feel both clear and confused, wanting quiet, yet afraid to face the emptiness inside. But that emptiness is sacred because it's where your new story begins, where you stop running from yourself and start listening to the voice within. Before we move forward, take a deep breath. Make yourself a cup of tea or coffee. Sit down gently, and let me tell you about the journey that awaits you, the one the universe has written especially for Gemini. If you can feel the awakening energy of Gemini rising within you, leave a comment saying, "I am ready for my turning point." And don't forget to like and subscribe so we can step into this new chapter together. Part 1. The Death of Confusion. When two selves collide. Gemini, have you noticed yourself changing lately? Not just fleeting emotions, but a real shift. Quiet, profound, and a little frightening. You wake up in the middle of the night feeling as though you're living two lives. One part of you longs for peace, wants to withdraw from the noise. The other is filled with the desire to break free, to create, to finally be yourself without needing anyone's permission. Those two parts are now clashing intensely within you. And in the final week of November, the universe will make sure they can no longer avoid each other. Something inside you is dissolving, Gemini. Slowly, quietly. It's the part of you that always tried to please everyone, that stayed gentle so no one would see your pain, that kept smiling even when your heart was exhausted. That part, the one that has lived too long pretending to be strong, is dying. And at the same time, another energy is rising. Your true self, your original soul, the part you've buried for years out of fear of being misunderstood, abandoned, or seen as too different. But Gemini, you were never born to be like anyone else. You were born to mirror the dual faces of the universe. Light and shadow, intellect and emotion, logic and spirit. So every time you feel conflicted, it's not a flaw, it's how your soul evolves, by teaching your two inner selves to become one. And the last week of November is that moment when you begin to feel those waves of energy crashing into each other, forcing you to face the truth you can no longer live with two faces. The universe is stripping away the masks you've worn for too long, the mask of humor hiding loneliness, the mask of confidence covering fear, the mask of flexibility used to avoid pain. All those layers of protection are cracking open. You'll feel confused, sometimes drained, not knowing who you are anymore. But understand this, that confusion is birth. Astrologically, Mercury, your ruling planet, is traveling through the shadow realm of your subconscious, where forgotten memories rise to the surface. Old stories, past relationships, things you thought you had moved on from, they may suddenly reappear, not to torment you, but to help you realize everything that once hurt you was preparing you for this very moment, the moment you reclaim your true voice. You'll start asking different questions. What do I really want? Am I living my own life? Or am I just living to keep others comfortable? And in that moment, you'll hear a small voice, the true voice of your soul. It's not loud, not persuasive, only whispering softly, enough. Come home. When you hear it, everything around you will begin to shift. Some people will leave. Some relationships will fade quietly. Some doors will close without goodbye. But don't panic, that's how the universe clears space for your soul to be free. Remember that Gemini carries twin energy, both storyteller and student, both light and mirror. This spiritual death isn't meant to erase your identity, it's meant to let your two selves, the one you were and the one you're becoming, finally hold hands. You may go through strange days. Things that once excited you no longer do. You won't feel like talking or explaining yourself. You'll crave solitude not because you're cold, but because you're listening to your heart again. And one morning, you'll look into the mirror and notice the light in your eyes has changed, no longer weary but awake. The chaos you're experiencing is not a sign that you're lost. It's proof that the universe is realigning you. It's dismantling everything that no longer fits, whether it's a belief, a relationship, or an old dream. Because only when you let the old fall apart can new energy flow in. Gemini, don't fear when everything begins to collapse. Don't rush to patch the pieces with old comfort. Let them fall. Let the old self die so truth can be born. Because only when you surrender the safe illusion will you find your real strength, the strength of someone who no longer needs to be divided. Take a deep breath, Gemini. What you're feeling now isn't an ending, it's a comma. A sacred pause before the next chapter of your journey, where you'll no longer have to hide behind a smile. Part 2. The return of your inner voice. Gemini, how long has it been since you truly heard your own voice? Throughout this past year, your mind has been like a song playing too many sounds at once. The advice of others, the expectations of family, the pressure of work, the silent comparisons on social media. All of it blending into a noisy hum that made you forget what your own sound feels like. You still talk, still smile, still live, but deep down, something hasn't felt real. It's as if you've been living someone else's life, only wearing your own face. But as November draws to a close, the universe shifts. When Mercury, your ruling planet, aligns with Neptune, the fog inside your mind begins to fade. You'll start to slow down a little. The things that once confused you will suddenly feel strangely clear. And in that stillness, a familiar voice will return, the one you abandoned long ago. The voice of your soul. No longer will it be, "What should I do?" It will become, "I know what I need to do." No longer, "Should I believe this?" But rather, "I can feel it's right." Because for the first time in a long while, you trust your intuition again. Gemini's intuition is unlike anyone else's. As quick as lightning and as deep as the ocean. You can hear what others don't say, feel the energy hidden in silence. But this past year, you've let the world silence you. You were afraid of being wrong, of upsetting others, of disappointing someone, so you chose silence. You lived by logic, by plans, by what makes sense. And now your soul is rising to reclaim control. In the final week of November, a series of strange signs will begin to appear. You'll dream meaningful dreams. You'll see repeating numbers 11, 11, 22, 22, 555. You'll stumble upon a song, a quote, or meet someone whose presence stirs your heart, and you'll know it's not random. The universe is speaking to you in a language only your quiet mind can understand. As you begin to trust your intuition, everything around you will start to rearrange itself. Plans that once felt stuck will begin to flow. People who once hurt you will quietly drift away. Doors that never seemed to open will unlock the moment you stop trying to force them. That's not magic, it's resonance. When you reconnect with your soul, the universe mirrors it by aligning you with exactly where you're meant to be. Gemini, don't doubt this. You are the sign of communication, of words, of intellect. But your new power doesn't lie in speaking more, it lies in listening deeper. You no longer need to control. You just need to listen to your body, your emotions, your soul. Because the answers you've been searching for aren't out there. They've always been within you. You just weren't quiet enough to hear them. When Mercury joins Neptune, the veil between mind and intuition dissolves. You'll clearly see what needs to end, what deserves to continue, who should stay, and who must go. And more importantly, you'll recognize what's real and what's merely an echo of fear. Don't be surprised if you find yourself choosing a slower life. Fewer arguments, fewer explanations. That's not weakness. That's wisdom. Because a powerful soul doesn't need to speak loudly. Their silence already speaks for them. And soon, you'll discover something miraculous. When you listen to yourself, the world begins to listen to you too. Everything you say carries clarity, precision, and inspiration. Every idea you touch gains depth and impact. That's when Gemini stops speaking to entertain and starts speaking to heal. This is the gift of the final week of November, the return of your soul's voice. Not a voice meant to argue, but a voice meant to illuminate. That voice will guide you through the rest of your journey, helping you choose the right people, the right path, and the right moment to bloom. Trust the first feeling. Trust the sudden intuition. Trust the subtle signals your heart sends, because that is the language of the universe, and you are finally beginning to understand it. If you feel your inner voice growing clearer and stronger, leave a comment saying, "I trust my intuition." Let it be your declaration to the universe that you are ready to listen. And don't forget to like and subscribe so we can continue walking together, Gemini, on this sacred journey of decoding divine energy. Part 3. The Awakening of Your Unexpressed Talent. Gemini. Have you ever felt that there's something inside you that has never been fully expressed? A gift, a passion, a burning flame you once dimmed just because you were afraid of being misunderstood, judged, or told you weren't good enough. The truth is, it never disappeared. It's only been waiting for the right time to awaken. And the final week of November is exactly when that door opens suddenly, clearly, and powerfully. For Geminis born between May 21 and June 10, you are entering an incredibly potent phase of creative explosion. The universe is sending you a flash of illumination, a deep moment of realization when you see that what you once called a small hobby is actually the key to your soul's freedom. Maybe you've written a few lines just to release emotions, drawn a few sketches, sung for yourself, or shared a piece of your truth online. None of it was random. These were divine signals reminding you that you were born to transmit energy through words, feelings, and connection. Astrologically, Mercury, your ruling planet of language and thought, is powerfully activating your creative sector. This means the ideas arriving in the final week of November are not coincidences. They are sacred downloads, energetic transmissions your soul receives to prepare for a breakthrough. You'll start to notice patterns repeating, conversations that fill you with inspiration, unexpected creative projects, or someone mentioning an opportunity you once dreamed of but never dared to chase. Gemini, you are the storyteller of the cosmos. Every word you speak, every line you write, every idea you share carries vibration. When you speak from your heart, you don't just communicate, you ignite. You awaken what's been sleeping in others simply by daring to be your authentic self. And yet, in the past, you often dimmed that light. You were afraid of being too much, too dreamy, or too sensitive. But let me say this clearly. Your sensitivity is your superpower. You feel the emotional frequency of others and transform it into words, art, images, or sounds that heal. Not everyone can do that. This final week of November is the time to stop doubting yourself. Every experience you've ever had, the good and the painful, is merging now to shape you into your most powerful creative version. If you failed before, that wasn't the end. It was a necessary lesson to help you express truth more deeply. If you've been criticized, it only means your energy was strong enough to make waves. Now, the universe doesn't want you to wait until you're perfect. It wants you to begin to write, to speak, to create, to share. Don't wait for permission. Don't wait for the right moment. The right moment is now. Remember this. You don't need thousands of listeners, just one heart that feels your energy, because they'll carry it forward. That's how light spreads. You don't need to become an artist. You only need to return to the creator your soul has always been. If your heart beats faster while hearing these words, that's your soul saying, yes, this is it. You might not know exactly where you're headed, but start with one small act today. Write something that makes you happy, share a story you've been hiding, or simply sit down and sketch your dream again. Every small action is a step on your awakening path. And once you take that step, you'll see miracles unfold. Opportunities will appear, kindred spirits will find you, and your energy will become so radiant that everything else naturally rearranges to support your mission. Gemini, you don't have to try to be special, you already are. Talent isn't about how much you know, it's about how deeply you dare to live your truth. When you speak with your true voice, live through real passion, and act from your soul, the universe responds by opening doors where you once saw walls. If you feel the time has come to speak your truth, to live in alignment with the creative energy you were born to bring into this world, comment, "My voice matters," as a declaration to yourself. And don't forget to like and subscribe, because the awakening of Gemini has only just begun, and every step you take is rewriting destiny. Part 4. The liberation from half-hearted connections. Gemini, how long have you been living in relationships that only touch the surface, never reaching your soul? How long have you been smiling while your heart quietly runs dry? You've grown used to being the pleasant version of yourself, so no one would leave. You've listened to others so much that you forgot the sound of your own voice. But deep within you, there's still a part that longs to be seen, to be heard, to be loved, without having to perform. And in the final week of November, the universe will begin cutting those cords, whether you're ready or not. For Geminis born between June 11 and June 20, you're entering a phase of emotional purification. It won't feel peaceful at first, because healing always exposes what's been hidden. You may realize someone's intentions were never as true as you believed. You may see a relationship you once called safe suddenly feel distant, or perhaps you'll recognize that you were the one pretending to be fine, holding it all together to protect something that was already breaking. Don't hold on. Whatever is leaving now is creating space for honesty to return. The universe is teaching you an essential truth. Real love doesn't require performance. You don't have to adjust yourself to be loved. You only need to be authentic, because genuine love will always recognize the frequency of your soul. Astrologically, Venus, the planet of love and connection, is moving through the sector that rules Gemini's emotional house. This energy brings everything buried up to the surface. If someone no longer vibrates at your frequency, they will naturally drift away. If someone is truly meant for you, they will return in a new form, deeper, purer, more aligned. You might feel loss, but Gemini, remember, sometimes losing the wrong person is the beginning of healing. The universe never takes what belongs to you. It only removes what blocks true love from arriving. And only when you have the courage to say, "Enough. I will no longer settle for less than I deserve," will the new energy begin to flow in. You were born with a heart built for connection, but you must also learn to protect your soul's boundaries. Not everyone deserves access to your energy. Not every bond should be kept just because it used to matter. This final week of November teaches you that love is no longer about sacrifice. It's about alignment with the right person, at the right frequency. Let me be clear. Real love will never make you feel small. It will never leave you doubting your worth. It will never make you ask, do they really care? Real love will make you feel light, free, and completely yourself. And here's the miracle. When you stop pretending, you begin to attract souls who truly see you not for your appearance, not for your role, but for your authentic light. You'll meet people whose eyes say, "I understand you." You'll connect with kindred souls who've walked through the same pain and now return to build something more honest, more beautiful, more whole. The universe is whispering, you don't have to be two people to be loved. When you release the twin act, the half that seeks approval and the half that hides to avoid pain, you'll finally discover real love. And that love doesn't come from another person, it begins within you. Love yourself with the same patience you once gave others. Be gentle with yourself the way you used to comfort someone else. When you do, you send a clear signal to the universe, I am ready for real love. And the universe will respond immediately. Gemini, you once loved with half your heart. Now, love with your whole soul. Because once you learn to love yourself unconditionally, you become a magnetic field attracting everything true, beautiful, and deserving of your light. Let the half-hearted connections fall away like winter leaves. Don't grieve, spring is coming. And with it, the real connections, the soul-level love you've been waiting for your entire life. If you're ready to love and be loved as your true self, comment, "I am ready for real love," below, as your declaration to the universe. And don't forget to like and subscribe, so we can continue this journey of healing and heart awakening together, Gemini. Part 5. The Cosmic Turning Point. You were never lost. As November comes to a close, Gemini, you enter a rare moment of inner stillness, a space where you begin to realize that everything that once confused, hurt, or misled you had a purpose. Every spiral you fell into, every time you turned back when you thought you were going the wrong way, every person you lost, all of it, was a perfect piece of the journey that has been guiding you home to yourself. You were never truly lost. You were simply walking through a maze designed to help you remember the way back. And home. It isn't a place. It's a state of being where you feel safe to be yourself, without pretending, without forcing, without choosing sides. The final week of November marks a great fusion point, the moment when your soul and your mind finally find harmony. After all the inner conflict between your two sides, you'll realize something profound. You no longer have to choose one over the other to exist. Mind and heart can walk as one. Ego and soul can share the same path. You stop asking, "Who am I?" and instead, you softly smile and say, "I am all that I have ever been." Astrologically, the late November energy signals Mercury, your ruling planet, shifting into the radiant zone of your chart. This doesn't just bring clarity. It activates the union between your two inner aspects, the thinker and the feeler, the speaker and the listener, the self who lives for the world and the self who lives for the soul. All the dualities within you, the logical mind and the dreamer's heart, the one who seeks connection and the one who craves solitude, no longer need to fight. Because now you see, your complexity is your magic. You don't need to fix yourself to fit in. You only need to know yourself deeply enough to love every part of who you are. When you reach that state, the world around you will begin to transform. People who no longer match your vibration will drift away quietly, and those whose souls resonate with yours will appear as if they'd been waiting for you to remember who you are so they could find you. New opportunities will unfold, not because you're trying harder, but because your energy now aligns with what you truly desire. You'll feel lighter than ever before. No more proving. No more explaining. No more choosing between heart and logic. When both sides of you unite, you'll realize your strength was never in perfection. It was in wholeness. Every decision will feel clear. Every step will carry meaning. And then, a simple yet profound truth will dawn on you. You were never on the wrong path. You were just learning to see the path with new eyes. Every mistake, every detour, every turn you once doubted was not a failure. It was a spiral that raised your consciousness higher. Each loop brought you closer to wisdom, even when it seemed like you were circling back to the same place. But Gemini, this time it's different, because now you have awareness, understanding, and above all, unity. From here, December opens a new prosperous cycle, one where you are seen, heard, and loved for who your soul truly is. You'll speak words that awaken others. You'll create things that make the world pause and listen. You'll connect with people who make you feel, deeply and completely, I can be myself and still be loved. This is the cosmic turning point, where Gemini stops running from the self and begins to embody the self, wholly and freely. No more splitting, no more performing, no more living halfway. You live in truth, in light, and in the power of a soul that has finally come home. And when you look back, you'll smile and say, I was never lost. I was only finding my way back. The universe is witnessing this moment. The moment when you shift from seeking to becoming. And once you reach this frequency, nothing can take your peace away again. If you can feel this rebirth energy rising within your heart, comment, I am ready for my turning point. Let it be your declaration that you are ready to receive this new, unified, and abundant chapter. And don't forget to like and subscribe, so you never miss the divine messages the universe is sending, just for the soul of Gemini. Gemini, by the time you've reached this moment, you've probably felt something shifting inside you, a new energy, both gentle and powerful, awakening within your heart. And maybe for the first time in a long while, you truly understand you were never lost. Every storm, every detour, every person who walked away, it was all part of the universe's plan to bring you back to your truest self. Today's video isn't just an astrological message, it's a mirror for you to look into your own soul and see clearly again. You've learned that when you dare to release the chaos, the path becomes clear. When you trust your intuition, every decision aligns with perfect timing. When you live through your real passion, you allow creativity to flow freely through your life. When you love with honesty, real love always finds its way to you. And most importantly, when you accept every part of who you are, even the ones that once made you feel weak, you become the strongest version of Gemini you've ever been. The lesson the universe is sending through this journey is crystal clear. Wholeness doesn't come from cutting parts of yourself away, it comes from loving everything that you are. So from this moment on, allow yourself to live more truthfully. Write down the things you've always wanted to say. Do the things you've been afraid to do. Stop shrinking yourself to fit into someone else's world and start expanding to fit the vastness of your soul. This is the phase where the universe opens the path for you, a new cycle of confidence, creativity, and freedom. Everything you need is already within you. All that's left is to believe, to live, and to shine. If you can feel the energy of this turning point, comment, "I am ready for my turning point," to affirm that you're ready to step into this new chapter. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video so together we can spread Gemini's radiant, healing energy to every soul who needs to hear this message. Thank you for staying until the end of today's journey. Keep the light in your heart. It's the torch that will guide you home every time you feel lost. See you in the next video, where the universe will once again whisper its beautiful secrets meant just for you, Gemini.